I absolutely love it when a brand catches me off guard. Now, it doesn't usually happen very often, but today is one of those days. Aviate have come out with a watch in collaboration with Worn & Wound, and I'm not sure why it took Worn & Wound to get them to this point, but they've made a watch that I would almost call minimalistic. Most of their watches are pretty crazy. A few months ago, it was actually maybe a year ago, I reviewed a new GMT, I think it was a Flyboy, that was moving in the right direction, a little bit simpler than all of their other designs. But the watch that we're looking at today makes that watch look like it is over-designed. I have one hands-on, so let's flip the camera and take a look at Aviate's latest collaboration with Worn & Wound, their Covert. So I could probably reenact the pitch meeting on this watch. They wanted something simple, something straightforward, something very clean in design. And I think they have achieved that here. They also put out a list of specs, and those specs had to be basically a minimum of what you would expect from a great everyday sports watch. And again, I really think that they have done that here as well. You have a stainless steel case with an extra hard coating. So you're getting an extra hard coating on this case, so that means it's extra scratch resistant. You are also getting a sapphire crystal, an automatic movement inside, 100 meters of water resistance, and the case is a very wearable, around 38 millimeters. We'll do exact measurements in just a few minutes. This is not a typical Aviate watch. If you like Aviate watches, this is probably not going to be a watch that you're going to like, because this is such a minimalistic design. It's very different from what Aviate usually make. They usually have tons of little dials and little aspects that make them very technical looking. And at one point, when I was looking at an Aviate a long time ago, when I first started noticing the brand, I thought to myself, these must be very complicated watches. And then I realized they weren't. They were just essentially quartz chronographs. Now, that's not a bad thing, and they've made automatic watches in the past. They're pretty cool, but that was kind of their look. Lots of layers, lots of little details that made it look a lot more complicated and busy than it needed to be. And this is the opposite of that. You have a satin black dial, applied indices. Now, I don't know if they are fully loomed, if they're actually milled loom blocks or they're just painted with loom, but they do look like loom blocks. I'm not sure if they are. It doesn't say any of that in the press release for this watch, so I believe it's just C3 Superluminova. And then you have an arrow for the seconds hand that has loom on it. There's a little red tip, and that is it. You have dagger hands or sword hands, whatever you want to call them, and those are filled with loom. It says Aviate up at the top of the dial. Right below that, it says CVRT, Covert. That's the name of this watch. Very straightforward. Then you have a black bezel that has some knurling on it. It's very grippy, although it doesn't move. I don't know what the point of that is, but I do like the look and I like the feel. I think it looks great. And then you have a really nice crown on here with lots of grip. Again, at the 4 o'clock position, which is a little bit different. Then you have a stainless steel case that telescopes a little bit and wears beautifully. It has a very nice line of polish. The only thing that I don't like about this design is the strap. The strap integrates to the case actually perfectly. I just don't like that look. I think it would look better with basically a standard rubber strap that has no integration into the case. This makes it look like an integrated bracelet watch, and it's not. I'm not sure why they went that route. It really didn't need it. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It also comes on a double pass-through strap. I'm not a huge fan of those, so I wouldn't wear it on that. So I would have to get an aftermarket strap on this watch. You do get that 100 meters of water resistance. You have a screwed-in case back, and you get a Miyota 9000 series inside the 9015. So this would be my other little issue with this watch. You have the date between the 3 and the 5 o'clock. It is a circular date window. It is color matched, so it kind of disappears on the dial. I would have probably gone with the Miyota 9039, because it doesn't have a date. It would make a little bit more sense that you're trying to make this as clean and simple as possible, as basically minimalistic as possible. Adding the date window, really no point, especially between the 4 and the 5 o'clock position. Even though you can't really see it that much, it's still there, and this is a very clean look. I'm not saying it dirties up the look, but I would just do without that date. According to my calipers, this is a 37.8 millimeter watch, so almost a 38 millimeter watch. And then you have a lug to lug of around 44.5 millimeters. But because of this integrated strap look, you're getting a much larger lug to lug. It's around 50 millimeters. It doesn't wear like that on wrist. I'll show it to you on my wrist in just a few seconds. And then it's around 10.5 millimeters thick. That's including the sapphire crystal, the 100 meters of water resistance, automatic movement, all of that inside. That is pretty thin, and it is thin. When you turn it on its side, it does look thin. You can see that telescoping case. So you do have a almost 38 millimeter case, but it wears really nicely on wrist because of that case. It's very comfortable. I've actually been wearing it all day, and I think it looks great. On wrist, I have another watch that tries to give you all of the specs in one watch. This is the Busell Elemental. I think that's what they're calling it. A really cool integrated bracelet watch. Video for this is currently up on my channel right now. If you're interested, definitely check out this watch. It's a great price for tons of specs. And there it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. You could see this wears really nicely. It's a 38 millimeter watch basically at the bezel, a little bit smaller at the case. You have a 44.5 millimeter lug to lug. It will wear like that on a normal strap. On this strap, it wears a slightly larger 50 millimeters, somewhere in that range, but it doesn't really feel larger on wrist. It actually, I think, fits my wrist really well. And then you have a very thin 10.5 millimeters. That's because, of course, that Miyota 9015 is pretty thin, and I think it looks really good on my 7.5 inch wrist. A really nice strap though, rubber strap with a really nice buckle on here that is bespoke to the watch and kind of matches the case a little bit. Overall, I love the design. It is super clean, very minimalistic, especially when you compare it to the rest of the range from Aviate. This is really good. The lume is really good on here. They're not full lume blocks. They're just white on the sides as well, but it is not lumed on the sides of those indices. So it's just lumed on the top. Although, even though that's the case, it is very liberally applied with lume, and the hands are very liberally applied with lume. I guess those are indices that are filled in with lume and then are painted white, so they look like full lume blocks, but they're not. And you also have lume on the second hand in that little arrow so that you can see that your watch is working in the dark. I really like this design. I think they did a great job. It's very clean, as I have said a number of times in this video, and it wears really nicely on wrist. Price on this is $450. I think that's a really good price for the watch that you are getting, especially considering the amount of work that they probably had to put in to get to this watch. Probably took a lot of development and all of that stuff. So 450 bucks, I think, is a great price for this watch, and it's really good looking. It comes with two straps, the strap that you see here, and then a black pass-through strap, which again, you know, I would probably have to put this on another strap just so that it wouldn't be integrated or a pass-through strap. I would like a traditional strap to put on here so that there is space between the case and the lugs. I kind of like that look, or the case and the strap. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of what Aviate have done here with Worn & Wound? Did they really need Worn & Wound to do this? I have no idea, but here we are, and if it took Worn & Wound to get them to do it, I'm very happy about it. See that the lume is fading here pretty quickly. It's already faded on the indices. The hands are still hanging on, but there you go. I will add a link to this watch down in the description below. Definitely check it out if you are interested. And that's really it, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next video.